Over the last 3 years on the West Coast, we've undertaken some innovative initiatives in technology. I'm Jackie Gurden, Project Manager, and this video clip will take you through some of what we've achieved. We've branded this initiative the West Coast ICT Uptake project, and it's a partnership between Development West Coast and the government's digital strategy with foundation partners Koro Learning, Taipatini Polytechnic and West Reap. And we're going to have a look at a number of initiatives that we've undertaken in this clip as follows. The work we've been doing across business and community sectors, a number of projects within the West Coast libraries, a wide range of opportunities for youth and the West Coast Kids ICT Conference. And we'll finish with the development of sport and the work we've been doing in video conferencing. Let's have a look first at where the West Coast ICT Uptake project came from. It goes right back to 2003 when our Economic Development Agency at the time, Venture West Coast, was involved in the government's Project Probe initiative. Project Probe took broadband out to all schools in the region, and following that, Venture West Coast put a number of proposals to government for more broadband infrastructure into the West Coast. They were successful, and once we had the infrastructure here, we started thinking about, okay, how do we help the community use this infrastructure? How do we bring training so that they can capitalise on it being here? So we developed a West Coast ICT strategy. The West Coast ICT strategy has 7 goals. The first is in leadership and developing the project management to deliver the initiatives. The second is in connectivity, and we've put forward funding applications to the various government projects and have now got 97% of the lines on the West Coast covered by current broadband technology. Ideally, we'd like to see a fibre backbone throughout the region to future-proof our network. This infrastructure goal also promotes increased mobile coverage and more affordability of satellite connection. The third area is in e-centres and working with the entities on the West Coast that already have computers and training facilities available. The fourth is in education, critically important, and we've developed a separate education ICT strategy. 2 successful projects to come from that have been the funding by the Ministry of Education for a 3-year professional development facilitator to work in schools, and computers in schools, an application we put to Development West Coast, our regional economic development agency, for computers and technology hardware in schools. The fifth area is in driving uptake, and lots of the initiatives within the ICT Uptake project have come from this. It's about helping communities upskill to utilise the broadband infrastructure and technology hardware that we've got. The 6th goal is in youth, and that's very important. Youth are the future leaders for our region, and it's really important that they've got good skills in using technology. The 7th goal is in collaboration and sharing what we're doing and learning from some of the other things happening in areas outside of the West Coast. Let's now have a look at what's been undertaken in the West Coast ICT Uptake project. Here you see the pod of 11 laptops that we purchased to run the program. We started by using the computers that already existed at Koro Learning in the various schools, and then we decided, because they didn't have all the programs on them and we had to upload the programs before we started, that we'd purchase the pod. These are fantastic. They've been used right through our adult programs, our youth programs throughout the community, and we've also made them available to schools, so they now loan them for up to a week, and it's really enhanced some of the programs that the teachers have been able to offer in the classes. Let's have a look at some of the adult workshops that we've undertaken in business and community sectors. We've undertaken a wide range of introductory workshops, things like backing up the computer, using the internet, file management, downloading, YouTube. What we did was made up a framework of topics and really based what we delivered on what the attendees in each of the communities that we went into wanted to learn. Here you see in this picture Eric Martini. He's one of the lead tutors, and he was down in Harry with a group of dairy women. Along with the introductory workshops, we covered some of the leading edge technologies like cloud computing, and we brought David Kineen down to deliver a series called 10 of the Best, 10 free technologies off the internet that can help business. We also developed a workshop series in social marketing, and here you see David Caneen working with one of our tourism operators and a local optometrist, looking at how you make a business or community marketing strategy, integrating sites like YouTube and Flickr to drive traffic to your website and to increase sales. So much technology is now going mobile. Many of us have mobile phones and similar devices, and we don't really know what they're capable of. So we ran a workshop with Camillery through our region talking about mobile technologies. Here you see a group of people down in Haast. They're actually in the Haast school. The school purchased a video conferencing unit, and what we did is ran some projects out of Taipatini Polytechnic's video conferencing system, and also from Auckland down into the Haast unit. You see these people here, they're people undertaking an Excel workshop. We also delivered photography workshops and the 10 of the Best series into Haast as well. Down there they don't get exposure or tutors in to take this sort of thing, so having that video conferencing unit there has been great, and we've certainly tried to support that in the project, in the ICT Uptake project. During these workshops, particularly the social marketing ones, we've recognised that many businesses throughout New Zealand aren't aware of these technologies and don't necessarily understand how to incorporate them into their businesses, and they're missing opportunities. So having developed these, I've now teamed up with some of the tutors, and we're offering these to other regions. This is Lewis Brown. Lewis is the Senior Advisor with Digital New Zealand with National Libraries. We've had Lewis down on the West Coast on 2 occasions. He's worked with our genealogy groups on helping them preserve their historic photos and historic records, and Lewis also, together with Lucy Pattinson from Te Papa, were the lead presenters at a heritage forum that we held, where we've got all our heritage groups together out at Shantytown, and we're looking at developing a website. So Lewis was helping us with that, and also in the afternoon we ran a workshop on utilising sites like Flickr and getting more heritage and West Coast images up on the Flickr site. Here you see at the Heritage Forum some of the people that attended hard at work. They all brought along photos of the different sites and projects that they're involved with, and started uploading some of those images up onto Flickr. I think it's really important to encourage heritage groups to put images of their sites up on the internet, because not only are they of heritage interest, they're also some of our key cultural tourism sites, and because they're usually managed in the public arena, there's often not a lot put online about them. So this sort of event is fairly key to our region for cultural tourism development. Under the project, Eric Martini also developed a Senior Tech series, and that was run in Greymouth and in Westport and was very popular. Claire Cheeseman and Luke Fitzsimmons, 2 people well known in the education sector, and we brought Claire and Luke down to the coast to run some holiday programs for our young people, and while we had them there we also ran some workshops for teachers. And what you see here is a large number of teachers that attended that workshop, and Claire and Luke talked about the things that they're doing in their classrooms with technology, and we did that with David Caneen as well too. The ICT Uptake project also teamed up with Sport West Coast for some events, and here you see a family day teaching geocaching at Lake Brunner. Our West Coast libraries have been really proactive in the area of technology too, and were right at the forefront when the APN, or the Aotearoa People's Network, came out, and our main libraries in Bulla, Grey and Westland have all now got computers in them for the public to use. What we've done there as well is we've also supported the National Library's Kete project and got our own West Coast Kete, and we've run workshops. This one here is an example where we've invited the community in and tried to encourage them to upload their stories about their families or community events onto the Kete website. And here you see one of those workshops with people busily loading their photos and their documents up onto the Kete site. I think the idea of Kite is an outstanding one and needs to be set up right throughout New Zealand. It's a bit like Trade Me, but without the selling, where anyone can upload their material. Where Kite is different from most websites, though, is that it's backed up by the National Library Service, so that the material that's uploaded there is retained nationally. Under the APN, each of our libraries also got scanners, and here you see Eric teaching one of the members of our community how to scan his photos. We also found that lots of people in the community had slides and they didn't know how to digitise those. So we bought 3 slide scanners and donated those to each of our libraries, and then we ran some workshops to show people how to use the scanners and to promote the fact that they were freely available in the library for people to come in and use. We also took the promotion of the Kite site out into some of the rural communities. Places like Haast and Harry, and tried to encourage people to put their photos and stories up on the site. And while we were down there, we invited some of the families that we thought had significant early photos in to meet sort of one-to-one with us, where we showed them how to digitise their photos. And we also, in some of the families, decided to digitise some of the photos ourselves and are starting to build photo stories with those people that we'll put up on the Kite site. We also found some quite significant collections of photos. This one in particular, this is Julia Bradshaw from the West Coast Historical Museum with Charles Lucas and Harry. Now, Charles had a collection of over 700 glass plate negatives, and part of what we built into the project was working with the museum's desire to make sure that they had a representative collection of regional photos. And so Julia was a part of that project, and they are now working with the Lucas Family Collection and digitising those. And I've scanned a lot of his photos and will be doing a digital story to capture the history of the Harry community. So there are 1 or 2 other projects that have emerged out of the Kite project, which are quite exciting really for our region, and will retain hopefully some of the stories and some of the images and put them in the public arena on the Kite site, so that they'll be held there in longevity, and so that they can be accessed by people doing research and schools and the families in the future. Also working in with the libraries, our libraries have purchased the program Ancestry, and they found that it wasn't being very well utilised, and a lot of that was because people didn't know it existed in the libraries and also didn't know how to use it. So we ran some workshops on how to use Ancestry, and they were very popular with people who were recording their family histories and searching for genealogy information. As I said before, young people are really important to the future of the West Coast, and we've provided some fabulous opportunities for our young people under this program. We've run events in the holidays and also after school. Things like animation, 3D modelling, gaming, robotics, geocaching, mapping, photography, electronics, even things like GPS art, where we've combined mapping projects and creating giant artworks using GPS and mapping. And also after school, a program called Explore, Design and Create, which has incorporated many of these sort of technologies and also using 3D printers as well too. And these have been done in conjunction with other entities like Sport West Coast, Department of Conservation, West Reap. So we haven't run them in isolation, we've actually partnered up with other entities on a number of these. This is a happy looking group of people. This is David Kineen and one of the workshops that he'd done with us on gaming. Again, another visiting tutor. This is Claire Cheeseman. And what Claire did was combine teaching photography skills with the program Comic Life. So the young people learned how to take photos, put them into the program, and then created posters with them. Quite simple, but very effective way of learning a whole lot of skills in the holidays. This is Eric with the workshop that he ran in Westport, Explore, Design and Create, with his 3D printer. We worked with the Department of Conservation on a photography workshop that worked in with Conservation Week. We brought in a professional photographer who showed young people how to take photos and also how to enhance them on some of the free software that's available on the internet. And then we used the Kete website, and the young people uploaded photos as part of the competition that ran through the week onto the Kete site, and we used that for the entries and for the department to then judge who the winners were from the entries on the site. Moving on to a really fun event we've developed, the West Coast Kids ICT Conference. It's held once a year at Shantytown for all primary schools on the West Coast, and we usually get about 70 or 80 children in up to 10 workshops, each with a 2-day challenge, and then at the end of that they report back to the whole group. And what you see here is the very first group of young people that helped develop the conference from Arahono School, and there with a well-known face, Paul Reynolds, CEO from Telecom. And Paul was down on the West Coast in the year that we first started this, and they sponsored one of the workshops. Between the schools there are sports, reading and maths events, so the conference is designed to promote technology. Some of the workshops present leading-edge technologies like this one in augmented reality, while most present commonly used tools and show how they can be incorporated into classroom projects. Most of the workshop leaders are teachers from West Coast schools. However, we also invite in guest presenters. Here's Claire Cheeseman down from Auckland, and she works with a range of technologies, with video, with green screen, with digital microscopes in her workshops. Topics that we cover at the conference include photography and digital imagery, music, movie making, animation, geocaching, gaming, using all sorts of programs like Scratch, Comic Life, iMovie, GarageBand, Keynote, Pages, Avery, quite a long list. These young people here have been taking photographs and interviewing people, and they're putting together the conference newsletter that goes out to all the sponsors and all the schools about what happened at the conference. This is Build a PC, a workshop where young people take apart a computer and then put it back together again. At the end of the conference, all the parents and teachers are invited in, and we have a great big show and tell of all the activities, all the challenges, everything that the young people have done. All the groups get up there, they talk about what they've done and show clips of it to everybody. It's a fantastic way to conclude the kids' conference. We also set up a Cisco IT Essentials course that ran for about a year on Friday nights on the West Coast. And here you see Rob Hughes, who took that course with some of the graduates, and also John Chang, the Chief Executive Officer with Development West Coast, who are one of the main sponsors of the course. Within our secondary and area schools on the West Coast, we've got a fantastic resource in the fact that they've all got video conferencing units in them. They use them through the day for classes, but they don't use them in the evening. Within our sporting codes, we don't have a lot of top coaches coming into the West Coast. So what we've done is we've been using the video conferencing units in the evenings, and we've been beaming in top coaches, for example, Selwyn Meister in hockey, Lee Gibbs in netball, Mike McHugh in basketball. So our coaches, our players, our umpires have come along for a 1.5 to 2 hour session in the evenings, and this has proved really good because the cost of bringing these coaches in and them having the availability of time to come to the region has been difficult. So this is a really good way of upskilling and enhancing our sports on the West Coast. And in the TV on the left, you see New Zealand netball umpire Faye Meiklejohn. In a pilot with Netball New Zealand, we beamed Faye and John O'Brien during 2 separate sessions into 3 of the West Coast units, plus Wanaka, Ashburton, Mount Hutt and Rotorua, where we helped about 80 local netball umpires upskill for their exams. We received tremendous support for this and the other video sessions from Genai. We're coming to the end now of our West Coast ICT Uptake project. I think we've done some pretty innovative projects. I think we've responded well to community needs where we've identified that somebody or a group has wanted have some training in something. We've set that up and delivered that. We've had a wide range of partners involved in this right across our communities. Some of the components will continue into the future and some sadly will finish. I think one of the key ingredients for what we've done has been around leadership. It's been about getting the people together that are interested in technology and really driving that strategy forward. So I hope in pulling together this clip for you of what we've done, it'll encourage other regions to have a look at what we've done and to develop their own strategies and their own initiatives. Thank you. We're happy to share any information on the initiatives that we've undertaken, so please don't hesitate to give me an email, jgurden@extra.co.nz.